First up, we've got Yolanda Hadid. The mother of supermodels Gigi and Bella Hadid, Yolanda herself was a top-notch model who is now known for being extremely strict on her daughters. She disapproves of them doing sports for fear of them getting too bulky, or eating any processed foods whatsoever. Obviously, as a model, her whole career revolves around how she looks, so it's no surprise that she's gotten some work done to try and fight the effects of gravity and time. Yolanda is 58 and looks like she could be in her 40s thanks to her strict regime of Botox and fillers. She's gotten facelifts and Botox done to her cheeks to try and keep her skin taut. That being said, she's thinking of ceasing all surgeries as she wants to maintain a certain level of bodily health. Quote, living in a body free of breast implants, fillers, Botox, extension, and all the bull I thought I needed in order to keep up with what society conditioned me to believe what a sexy woman should look like until the toxicity of it all almost killed me. Next up is Gwyneth Paltrow, who looks absolutely amazing, especially when you consider that she is 47 years old. While not an old age by any means, if she told me she was in her 30s, I'd have absolutely no trouble believing her. While obviously a lot of this stuff is genetic, there's also some work that Paltrow has admitted to getting done in order to help her defy age. She's spoken at length about her Botox injections and how they've helped her maintain her ageless face. But on top of that, she's also done some extremely strict facials. Paltrow has reportedly willingly let herself get stung by bees in the hopes of attempting to maintain youth. It's a form of acupuncture that basically replaces needles with live bee stings, which is extremely dangerous and life-threatening, by the way. In fact, one woman in Spain sadly passed away after attempting this form of acupuncture because Gwyneth had marketed it as a natural Botox. I think it's the actual Botox in her face that's doing the heavy lifting here, not the bee stings. Next on the list is Julie Chen Moonves, the host of Big Brother. The first surgery that Julie Chen got was when she was 25 years old. Although not to defy age, Julie underwent the extremely painful procedure to get rid of her monolid eyes. She did so because of pressure from television networks who thought that her Asian eye shape made her look disinterested, and so sadly she gave into racism and surgically changed her eye shape. While that is a completely different circumstance, she has also, in more recent years, admitted to getting Botox to continue to achieve her high and youthful cheekbones. To retain her age-defying facial features, she's continued to Botox her face occasionally on top of a very strict veggie-based diet. Next up is Amanda Lepore. The celebrity trans beauty queen is almost known more now for her extensive surgeries she's undergone to achieve what she considers to be the perfect look. The nightclub lover has undergone tons of surgeries, including butt injections with silicone, a nose job, a forehead lift, a hairline lowered. She regularly pumps her cheeks with fillers, and she's had her breasts enhanced 3 separate times. To accentuate her hourglass figure, Amanda has even had her bottom ribs broken and pushed in as a way to make her waistline appear smaller and her hips broader. For that procedure, Miss Lepore traveled to Mexico, since few doctors will even perform the operation in the United States. Her latest procedure included a laser treatment designed to make the skin around her jaw tighter. Quote, it's like a facelift, but you don't get cut. People love to hate Amanda, I think because she's everything that represents the rich and famous, but scaled up 10 times bigger and bolder, especially because she's been in the spotlight for so long for reasons untold. Kinda like the Kardashians. Next on the list is the Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose. While he has cemented himself as one of the greats in the musical lexicon, in an attempt to defy aging, his face shape has certainly changed over the years. Particularly, Axl has reportedly gotten cheek implants to avoid gravity alongside a facelift. Especially as Axl gets older, he's starting to shy away from the role as a sex pot in the rock and roll scene, so it's no wonder that he would want to try and retain some of the beauty from his youth. Although I personally think that accepting age is one of the most beautiful things one can do with their body, who am I to argue with one of the greatest musicians of all time? Next up is Paul Stanley. Paul Stanley is looking a little worse for wear lately in a way that has nothing to do with age. Well, I guess it kind of does if you think about how it's basically because of a very obvious facelift. The musician who rose to fame with his art rock band Kiss has also gotten a nose job to give his profile more definition as time starts to sink in. The eyebrows are looking kinda rough, not gonna lie. I liked when they were a bit lower on him, but now with the facelift, it just kinda makes him look a bit more odd than if he were to just leave his face alone. He just turned 70 a few months ago and isn't shy talking about all the surgeries he's had to endure as a result of the roughness of decades on stage. Just recently, he had to get another shoulder surgery due to an injury, on top of the 8 he's already had. Although that hardly has to do with age, I do feel for the man. Next up is Donatella Versace, the mogul fashion designer who changed the game. While once a naturally stunning woman, her face shape has changed extensively over the years, and as it stands, she's hardly recognizable from her former self. Around the early 2000s, we started to see Donatella go from fresh-faced and vibrant to plasticky, and nowadays she more closely resembles a wax figure than she does a human being. She's undergone multiple facelifts, consistent Botox, lip fillers, and I'm sure tons more in an attempt to escape wrinkles, but also to combat her near constant sunbathing that she refuses to stop despite knowing the effects of the dangers it can do to your skin and to speed up the aging process. Next up is Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers was a hilarious woman who didn't shy away from her bout with cosmetic surgery. Getting an eye lift when she was only 35 years old, she's been trying to escape age before it even really had an effect on her. She also had some facelifts, a very noticeable nose job, and a few eyebrow lifts. In a tribute to the star when she passed, supposed comedian Lena Dunham tweeted out cheekily in a joke that I'm sure Joan would have loved, quote, "Joan is gone, but a piece of her lives on. Her nose, because it's made of polyurethane." Joan once joked, quote, "I've had so much plastic surgery, when I die, they will donate my body to Tupperware." Rivers stated that she wants to look as young as possible into her old age, to the point that her plastic surgeon would send her home sometimes if she showed up too frequently to her Botox sessions. I kind of love her, and even more so for being so open about the surgery she's done to achieve an age-defying look, even in death. The famed prop comedian Carrot Top looks extremely different from his youth in an attempt to banish the wrinkles and signs of aging from his face. He's achieved a surgically enhanced, excessively arched brow and an extremely smooth face. The smooth face likely comes from laser treatments and chemical peels to keep it extremely tight and lacking any of the sagging we all see as time goes on. In reference to these surgeries, one doctor stated, quote, "At least it's appeared he's left his eyelids alone, although maybe they're next." And now last on my list is Jocelyn Wildenstein, who looks so unlike a human these days that she's been dubbed the Catwoman, and not because she looks like Zoe Kravitz. Jocelyn is a New York City socialite who went from natural stunner to, as she aged, a refusal to let time take hold, as she has had countless surgeries that have her appearing almost alien-like. Most notably, she's done her eyes and lips up so extensively, tons of facelifts and Botox. It's hard to see the natural face she once had under there, although I'd probably call this more of a medical obsession than dabbling in youthfulness, as it borderlines addiction levels of surgeries, so be nice in the comments.
At number 10, Kylie Jenner. Though there are plenty of other celebrities who have gotten lots of plastic surgery done, Kylie Jenner is one of the first people you might think of when it comes to having a drastically different look. If you compare what she looked like when she was younger to the way she looks now, you can see that there is a drastic change, and it's not all chalked up to the fact that she's gotten older. The one procedure that she's known for having is her lip fillers. She became the it girl when it came to the big lip trend, and it even got so intense that people were trying to imitate her large lips by creating the Kylie Jenner lip challenge. She had the filler dissolve for a brief time after the birth of her daughter Stormy, but that natural phase didn't last too long. On top of her lip filler, there has been speculation and theories around what other procedures she had done, though she only admits to ever getting fillers. It is also believed that she has gotten work to her body to achieve the curves that she has, like her Kardashian sisters. On top of body modifications, Kylie is also known for wearing wigs most of the time. Though this might not be considered plastic, it isn't her natural hair, and since it's something about her appearance that she continues to customize, I think it sort of counts. A lot of people idolize Kylie for her looks, and a lot of people want to imitate her appearance, which could be detrimental to a lot of people's self-esteem. At number 9, The Weeknd. There was a period of time early this year when the public thought singer The Weeknd did the unthinkable and changed his entire appearance. This started when the singer was seen walking the red carpet at a couple music awards wearing bandages around his face and looking bruised as though he had just recently undergone cosmetic surgery. This speculation was heightened when he posted a photo to his social media showing his new look, as his face looked drastically different. Though we all thought that he had gotten some serious plastic surgery for a moment there, it turned out to all be just a publicity stunt to promote his newest album, After Hours. The album follows a narrative of a man's slow descent into madness while, quote, chasing excess and happiness in all the wrong places, end quote. In an interview, the singer elaborated on this stunt, saying, quote, the significance of the entire head bandages is reflecting on the absurd culture of Hollywood celebrity and people manipulating themselves for superficial reasons to please and be validated, end quote. He looked like he had just turned himself into plastic, but it wasn't real, and it was all just a take on how Hollywood turns people into plastic mannequins, and he wanted to expose this. At number 8, Amanda Lepore. There are a lot of celebrities out there who try to hide the procedures they've had, but there's one person who embraces their changes, and that's Amanda Lepore. Amanda Lepore is a transgender model, performer, and now author who made a name for herself in Hollywood by just being herself. She was famous for just being herself long before Kim K ever came along. Much of Amanda's body has been altered over the years, as she claims to have the most expensive body on earth due to all of her surgeries. She's written and talked about all of the procedures that she's had done, and it's quite a long list. She's had a nose job, her hairline lowered, her eyebrows lifted, double eyelid surgery, cheekbone, lip and breast augmentation, gender confirmation surgery, hormones, and she even had one of her ribs broken and reshapen to alter the size of her waist. She's taken her body to the limit and back again. The most drastic procedure that she's had was getting silicone lip injections, because she said that she had gotten them done about 20 times and she went a little overboard, so she had to get them reduced. Amanda prides herself on being a living Barbie doll, and she really doesn't regret any of her decisions, even though they were all very expensive. To us, she may have gone too far with her look, but to Amanda, it's just right. At number 7, Zac Efron. Now this one isn't exactly a confirmed plastic surgery case, but it is causing a lot of commotion. There's been a lot of speculations concerning Zac Efron's supposed new look, as people are saying that Zac Efron has gotten some work done. And by some, I mean a lot. Zac recently showed up in a video about Earth Day looking pretty different and pretty swollen. The lower half of his face was looking very puffy, almost like he had just gotten some Botox done or some kind of other procedure, and people are super confused. The internet has been debating whether or not he's gotten surgery, with some people chalking this all up to Zac simply having wisdom teeth surgery, using that to explain all of the puffiness, but others aren't so sure. According to one celebrity plastic surgeon, they think it looks like Zac may have gotten fillers to reshape his jawline, or that he had actually gone under the knife and that there was some residual swelling going on. It's just a very sudden change that a lot of people weren't expecting. Like I said before, no one knows if this new look is permanent or not, but for now, Zac is looking a little plasticky, and it's a strange look to get used to. At number 6, Priscilla Caputo. Priscilla Caputo might not be a celebrity in the traditional sense, since she didn't rise to fame because of her trade like modeling or acting, but she did gain fame because of her looks, just in a negative way. Priscilla was an aspiring model back in the day, but because she started getting plastic surgery, she was left an internet laughingstock, gaining fame because she had gone too far with her appearance. Priscilla explained that her boyfriend, who was a plastic surgeon, kept giving her lip fillers, and soon she became addicted and couldn't stop. Her lips became too big, and because of her appearance, her modeling career tanked. Things for her hit rock bottom after her photos were circulated online and she became an internet laughingstock. She became a model for what not to do. She said that looking at her past photos of herself with her lips done upsets her greatly, and that because of the damage that she's done to her lips, they will never be the same. She became plastic, and when it was all removed, she was left with the damage that her decisions had caused. Now she's an advocate against plastic surgery because she knows firsthand the ugly side of becoming plastic. At number 5, Barry Manilow. Some celebrities aren't shy about the work they've had done, and others go to great lengths to hide it. One celebrity who has continuously denied their plastic surgery is singer Barry Manilow, because even though there's a lot of proof to indicate that he's had work done, he still claims to be all natural. In an interview, Barry claimed to have only undergone surgeries and treatments for his health, like hip surgery and receiving steroid shots, but a lot of people aren't buying that and have pretty much revealed that he's lying about getting work done for cosmetic purposes. It's been reported over the years that Barry had undergone several procedures, including having had received a facelift in 1995, a second facelift and eyelid surgery in 2003, and then a third facelift in 2005. There are even photos of Barry from 2003 showing him leaving a plastic surgeon's office in Beverly Hills. In the photos, he's shown wrapped up in bandages while wearing a disguise of sunglasses and a blonde wig in order to avoid being recognized. Because of the work that he's had done, a lot of people consider Barry as one of Hollywood's plastic celebrities. At number 4, Justin Jedlicka. Justin Jedlicka, also known as the real-life Ken doll, became famous because of his exaggerated looks. Justin has documented his transformation into plastic and isn't afraid of talking about the hundreds of procedures he's had. Yes, that is right, I said hundreds. Justin has estimated that he spent over $500,000 on his look, having received over 300 100 procedures and going under the knife over 100 times. Justin said that he became obsessed with his appearance after growing up watching the show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous and recalling that everyone on that show had plastic surgery. He thought that this lifestyle meant that you were successful and made it his mission to look like a Ken doll. Now that's his persona and he's pretty happy with it. At number 3, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson lived a hugely successful life and he was known for a lot. He was famous for his music but also his appearance as it changed drastically over the years. He went from being a young man with a darker complexion and a thick afro to being a pale man with thinning hair and skin. Though there have been sickening rumors around why Michael's look changed so much, most of the changes in his appearance were really due to his health. His change in complexion was due to his vitiligo, and his thinning hair was due to age as well as chemical bleaching. To counteract the effect his health was having on his complexion, Michael had turned to plastic surgery, which in the end didn't really aid in his appearance. The constant alterations done to his face in particular caused his skin to thin and wrinkle, which is added to the cycle of work, and his infamous nose job changed the proportions of his face as he was made to look bonier with his thin pointed nose. Over the years, Michael's appearance worsened with age as he tried to constantly make corrections, which really just worsens its outcome. The only thing that didn't age poorly about Michael was his musical abilities. Though his appearance and health deteriorated over the years, his legendary talent stayed awesome. At number 2, Donatella Versace. Sometimes going plastic makes things worse rather than better. Famous designer Donatella Versace has endured her fair share of criticisms in the past, from family matters to business decisions, but most of the criticism she's endured mostly pertains to her looks. Donatella's appearance has definitely evolved over time. She's been criticized a lot for her heavy plastic surgery and Botox, and people have even made comparison diagrams from what she looked like back in '97 when she first took over the Versace company after the death of her brother to now at the age of 66. People say that the work she's had done has made her appearance worse because the Botox and fillers she's received over the years has damaged her skin, and that her skin's elasticity is broken, leading her to look older. Because of this, she wants to get more Botox, and that cycle continues. The more work she has done, the worse her skin gets as a result. She's essentially turned herself into plastic, trying to correct the damage that has already been done. And finally, at number 1, Jocelyn Wildenstein. One of the most drastic celebrity appearances comes from socialite Jocelyn Wildenstein. Though she was a model back in the day, too much plastic surgery has altered her appearance forever to the point where she's mostly plastic. Jocelyn started changing her appearance to make her husband happy. She modeled her look after big cats because her late husband was a big cat lover. She reportedly kept a lynx as a pet and recalled that the big cat's eyes were perfect, and so she wanted to look just like it. Unfortunately, she went too far with her look. Over the years, she's gotten surgery on her eyes to make them look more cat-like, as well as receiving brow and facelifts, injections, implants, and more. She's become plastic, but she says that she's not done working on her look just yet.
In at number 10, Christian Bale. Christian Bale is known for his intense dedication to his roles, and he's been known to physically transform many times to support his performances, the most notable of which saw him lose 62 pounds in 4 months for his role in The Machinist. When he got the part of Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, he decided to get plastic surgery to look perfect. Although he liked the look of them, Bale felt that his teeth were not right for the character, so he had them changed before filming. He told The Guardian in 2000, quote, "I liked my old teeth, I have a molding of them on my shelf, but with Patrick Bateman, his physicality is much more important than with most characters. I looked at myself in the mirror and it just wasn't right. I was warned that if I got caps I could get a lisp, and you might still be able to tell in a close-up. So I thought, I like my teeth, but I'm not so attached to them that I'm going to ruin this whole movie because I refuse to get them done." So even though there was no actual reason to do so, Bale got the painful process of getting his teeth redone. In at number 9, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise shocked fans recently when he stepped out looking more puffy than ever, but after a close investigation, it's clear that there have been subtle changes in Cruise's appearance for years now. It's long been rumored that he had a nose job early in his career, but in 2012 he told Playboy, quote, "I haven't and never would." Although his good friend, Cuba Gooding Jr., put some cracks in that statement when he later insisted that Tom Cruise absolutely had work done. Cuba told a US TV show, quote, "I don't know what he's had done, but I remember I surprised him at his house one day and he had all of those dots all over his face. These dots are common for facial procedures so doctors can map out what exactly they want to do to the face. However, there is a chance that he had a consultation done, but never went through with the work." Then more recently at a baseball game, his face looked very full and puffy. Since it didn't look like he gained weight in an appearance later that month, it's clear he got some sort of Botox and filler. In at number 8, Howard Stern.
Even though Howard Stern's voice is his main asset, he still decided to go under the knife to improve his looks. In the 90s, he felt he was the king of all media, not just radio, and felt he should invest in himself by amping up his appearance. He chose to invest in himself, undergoing a rhinoplasty to remove the bump on his nose, and liposuction to diminish the fat under his chin. He's only admitted to those two procedures, but it's been rumored that he's had much more done, maybe even a facelift. Either way, he looks great for his age, so whatever he's done has worked. In at number 7, Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons has been rocking with the band Kiss for decades, and obviously that kind of lifestyle is bound to take a toll on the body. Simmons claimed to have never gotten drunk or high in his career, and so he's actually in better shape than most. But as he got older, he decided it was time to change things up, and thankfully he has shared the work he's had done with the public. In 2007, he and partner Shannon Tweed openly got his and hers facelifts. It's also been reported that he's gotten Botox and even eyelid surgery, which is another common anti-aging procedure. Although he's gotten some work done, Simmons says he does not recommend any of his fans to get work done. He said, quote, "I don't recommend anything that I've had done to anyone. Just because I order something off the menu doesn't mean you should. Order whatever makes you happy. Everybody's journey should be a personal choice." In at number 6, Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone is one of those celebrities that have been frozen in time. No matter how many years passes, he still looks as good as ever. Despite recently turning 75, he truly does not look a day over 50. Because of this, many fans assume he's had some subtle work done, and they would be right. But probably not the type of work that you might expect. Stallone was born with a health condition that destroyed the nerves on the left side of his face. To fix these, he went under the knife many times to make his face symmetrical, but the surgeries were never able to fix it entirely, and he was known to be photographed on his right side so it was less noticeable. As he got older, the issue came back, and he tried to fix it once again with a facelift. Stallone spoke about his surgery to People, saying, quote, "People see this scar and think I've had a facelift. What they don't notice is that I don't have a scar over here by my right ear. What do they think? That I could only afford to do half of my face? Sure, why not do it? You have bodywork done on your car." Although he's owned up to the facelift, fans speculated that he must have had more work done to look so good. Halfway at number 5, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This one was definitely the most shocking to me, although I guess it's safe to assume the world's highest paid actor would spruce up his looks if he felt he needed to. Although Johnson has not gotten the traditional procedures of Botox or a nose job, or at least he isn't admitting to getting those, since The Rock trained so much, he's put in a ton of work to get his rock-hard physique. He encountered a common issue called gynecomastia. It is a condition that results in the enlargement of the male chest through fatty deposits. So basically he developed man boobs. Since that was not the most appealing thing on screen, The Rock decided to have gynecomastia reduction surgery, which removed the excess fat from his breasts. Johnson was totally open and upfront about the surgery and his aesthetic motivations. And at number 4, Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay is known for his famous scowl, which I guess adds quite a few wrinkles to the celebrity chef's face. After years of being pressured to make a change in his appearance, he finally went through with it and got some work done. Apparently his good friend Simon Cowell encouraged it, but his kids making fun of his wrinkles was the last straw. When talking about the procedure, he said, quote, "I've got 4 children, and they'd say, 'Dad, why do you have so many wrinkles on your face when Clementine's daddy has no wrinkles?' Then another time he said, quote, 'I woke up in the morning and Matilda, my daughter, was trying to squeeze pound coins in there.'" Poor man. In the end, he opted for laser surgery rather than Botox. However, he's since been suspected of getting everything from facelifts to hair transplants. He later stated he was never getting another procedure again. His kid was putting coins in his face. And at number 3, MGK hair transplant. This one is a little known procedure, but it made a huge difference in MGK's appearance. Back in the day, Coulson used to speak about his thin hair, and he consulted with his hairstylist to come up with ways that he could make his hair look thicker. Apparently, the stylist told him the best thing was to get a hair transplant. We aren't sure when exactly the change took place, but looking back on his old photos versus now, there's a massive difference. Before, his hair was a lot thinner and his hairline was farther back on his forehead. It looks like he underwent a hair transplant procedure where a plastic surgeon took hair from another part of the body and put it on his head. This process can take 3 to 10 sessions, which must be done months apart, according to Healthline. Each session costs from $4,000 to $15,000. And at number 2, Jeff Bezos. Since becoming the richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos has clearly taken more of an interest in his looks, and it's clear that he's gotten some work done. Shortly before he went to space with his crew, it was clear he had recently made a big change for the day. Dr. Corey L. Hartman, a dermatologist in Alabama, told the Daily Beast, quote, "It's such a drastic change." To poke fun at the change, Hartman posted to Instagram saying, quote, "We see you, Jeff. Next time, get the filler a month earlier so that the swelling has time to die down. Keeps people like me out of your business." In general, his face looks more plump and even more swollen. The most noticeable change is his smoother skin and plumper lips. It's been speculated that he got Botox in his forehead, potentially a small facelift, or filler in his cheeks, then filler in his lips. And finally, number 1, Elon Musk. Doctors are convinced that the billionaire Tesla owner got a hair transplant at some point in his career. When we look back at old photos of him when he was in his 20s, it's clear that his hair was thinning a lot, and he was even balding on a large portion of his head. Now it's completely the opposite, and his hair is very thick. Since it is impossible for hair to grow back after falling out, doctors are certain that he got the hair transplant. Hair loss can be delayed or prevented with the use of special or proper treatment, but hair cannot regrow without an operation. Since he's become a more prominent figure in mainstream media, it makes sense that he would want to look his best and portray an image of being younger than he actually is.